Welcome back to Gears and Queers. I'm Jake.
I'm Chris.
Cars. Who's got them and who wants them?
Hopefully all of us.
Hopefully you do. Maybe use metro transport.
Is that why you're here?
Either way, hang out. Things might get weird. They might get funny. They might get rewarding, informational, and insightful.
Maybe all of the above.
Probably not though. What was your first car? Did we talk about this?
We talked about this a little bit in our IGTV video, so go peep that. My
Plug.
first car was a 1997 Volkswagen Jetta.
Yeah, purple.
It was Windsor blue.
Was this a hand-me-down? How'd you come across this
This
vehicle?
car was actually one that my mom's friend had that like got into like a small wreck, like she hit a curb, bent a wheel, and it just sat in her garage for like years. So
Brenda.
when
What was her name?
Maureen, shout out.
Oh my
if you're,
God,
you know,
Maureen.
watching. But she got this car when it was like a year old, and she had it for years. It was her only car up until like she hit the curb, and then she couldn't find
Which just, immediately puts the car out of commission.
This in this case, it had special order factory wheels. They were literally like 6-spoke. I think I probably have a picture somewhere. Ding. They were like they were okay looking, like they fit the car, but like nothing too crazy, right? So that was why the car was like sitting in the garage, was because the wheel was like very cracked. Like,
Did you want the car? Like, were you like, I want that Jetta, or were you just sort of like, sure?
I really was into it because it was like, even then, like sort of like obscure and unique.
Yeah.
Like it was the MK3, like you see the MK4s everywhere, but like not so much of the MK3s.
Right.
So I had it for about a year and a half, and I put like 23,000 miles on it, and
then the bed?
no, I gave it to my aunt.
Well, good for her, and I hope that the car is still going. Is it still going? Do we know?
No, she got rid of it.
Christopher, you have a very wholesome first car story. My first car was a... Sorry, I'm just laughing because it was such a box. Sorry, Joe. It was my brother's car. It wasn't actually like my... It was my car, but like he went to the Citadel, like military college, so they weren't allowed to have cars. It was a 2004 Saturn Ion. It had the I think they called them like party doors.
Like the suicide doors.
Yeah. What it was called?
It was a quad coupe.
The quad coupe. It was called the quad coupe, which it doesn't make any sense and doesn't exist. A coupe is a coupe, but yeah, it had those little like.
Honey, she was ahead of her time. Now we have Mercedes GLC.
Well, the thing is, okay, so it was a 2004 Saturn, so it was built out of like pizza boxes and like failed hopes and dreams, basically. And so because it had the hooker doors, it didn't have a B pillar. There was no B pillar.
So it had the structural stability of wet paper.
Of a pizza box. I'm not kidding. And the seats were made of pizza boxes. It was,
a pizza
I
box.
think, probably one of the worst modern cars ever made. He had four different tires on it. All different brands, all different sizes. Also, there was like an all season, a summer, a winter, like a stud.
Get you a girl that can drive.
I mean, each corner of the car was properly set up for different conditions.
Different climate. That's what they meant by all seasons.
If we went
one for each.
Yeah, if we went
climate.
to the four corners of like Colorado and all that, she would have been ready to go.
Ready to go. One wheel would always have traction, and the rest would not.
I don't really know what he did in that car, but the amount of mystery stain that could not come out of the upholstery. Like, I got a steam cleaner,
Joe.
okay? I didn't, yeah. Joe, if you're watching, you know what you did. So this was before the GM ignition problem. If you heard about this thing that killed, like, lots of people. But it was just before they announced it, and I remember it was constantly super hard to turn the ignition. Like, and then it would just, like, you could literally just take the key out.
While it was running.
It was running. And then put it back. If you think about it, other than the death part, super innovative. Oh, and also the gear shift, you would have to put it into the gear like above the one you wanted. So if you want to drive, you would have to put it into neutral and kind of like jiggle it. And to go into park, you would have to slam it forward so it would like get into park.
That sounds safe.
Again, safety features. I remember the Saturn. It didn't. The trunk was super light. It was just like,
Well, the whole car was plastic.
it was so light that if you slammed it, the spoiler would come off.
Oh my god.
One time I slammed. I was super pissed. I think I was like, I don't want to be going to high school anymore, as one does. And then I slammed the trunk, and the spoilers went, and just fell on the ground. Yeah, nothing good happened in that Saturn. Nothing good. Maybe that's where the stains came from. Do you have like, I'm trying to think, like a blurry first memory of being like, oh, this is chill. Like I could be into this, like car culture.
Like cars in general.
Yeah.
You know, I can think of like several key instances where I was like very aware of like cars and like my interest in them, but it wasn't anything like particularly like glorious or glamorous or things like that. So like I think the first time I was like super aware of cars was in 1998. I was 4 years old. My mom had a Plymouth Voyager.
What year?
An embarrassing
What year?
1993. So it was one of those ones that like, not the ones where they were super boxy.
The ones that ate a transmission every other month?
Yes.
Oh,
Because it did, in fact, eat its transmission. It was like where they had like
And your brother.
almost ate my brother too. My mom and my brother were like at like a park or something, and like my mom had put my brother in the car. She was like talking to one of the other parents like outside or whatever, and my brother crawls into the front seat and finagles the column shifter into neutral. And this was in like upstate New York.
How?
He must have.
He wanted to die.
He must have been like, what, like 5 or 6? So he does that. The car's parked on a hill and starts rolling down the hill. Like the person my mom was talking to, like sprints downhill after the van and gets like, thank God the door wasn't locked or anything, right? Like jumps inside.
Can you imagine?
And slams on the brakes and stops it before it hit anything.
They robbed him of what he wanted.
That van, honestly, that van was trying to die because it not only shit out its transmission, can we say shit? Yeah. It also caught fire, was backed into by a garbage truck.
That's not her fault. Don't put that on her.
It wanted to die.
Oh my god.
It was one of those that had the door on only one side. Remember when minivans were death traps?
Yeah, I do. I don't think I ever told you this story. We had a Chevy Lumina van. Like I think it was
the Dustbuster.
Yeah, the Dustbuster. It was black with red badging, and I distinctly remember one afternoon I ran up to my parents' room. I grabbed a single penny from their penny jar. I ran down the stairs. I got into the van. I put it in the tape deck, and I did that up and down the stairs, jamming pennies into the tape deck of our Voyager until it was bursting. And then I like closed the tape deck door, and the next day we got in the van to go somewhere, and my mom pressed like the eject button to put a tape in, and they spilled out like a slot machine, and she turned around and let me have it. We never got to listen to music in that van ever again.
That is so funny because it is a excellent segue into a story of mine. My parents had a 1989 Honda Accord. So the OG tape deck that was in the car, my brother shoved quarters, not pennies, quarters into it and broke it.
Not only did your brother try to commit suicide in a Voyager, he's also just really does not like technology. I mean, what have we learned here? That our earliest memories of car culture is us just vandalizing our parents' hard-earned property.
What would you do if you had a young whippersnapper come into your vehicle and just destroy the function?
You can leave it at come into my vehicle. You're my child, you're not allowed to, you are dead, get out, gone, wrapped up, take it, I skin him, and I make a new seat out of him. If I didn't have leather interior before, I got leather now because I just skinned my child alive. And I just sit on it. And then I appreciate it.
Do you think we should issue an open apology to all the parents whose tape decks are filled with currency in the form of metal?
No, because I don't like to apologize, but I will say this. Mom, sorry.
I didn't do it, so.